In this video, we're going to trace the code for insertion sort. I have an array already set up here. It's called elements, just like in the code, and I have the indexes 0 through 4 ready to go. So let's go ahead and get started. It says to have J start at position 1. So I'm going to bring J down to position 1. J is one of these blue numbers. The next step is to set temp equal to elements at j. Elements at j is 8, so I'm going to clone that 8 and bring it over here to temp. And then the next thing I'm going to do is let possible index equal j. So I'm going to bring possible index down to j, but you'll notice in the code we have both possible index and possible index minus 1, so I have those two kind of paired up, so anytime this moves, it moves with it. All right, so we have to check, is possible index greater than 0? Which it is, because it's 1. Is the temp less than the element at possible index minus 1, which is a 3? And 8 is not less than 3, which means this was false. So I jump right down here and it says let elements at possible index equal temp. And so I'm going to bring over this 8, and even though there's already an 8, technically it's going to put in an 8 where there was already an 8, and we've done one round. All right, we come back up here, and now j is plus plus, so it comes down there. And now I'm going to let temp equal elements at j, which this time is a 1. So I'm going to put the 1 right there. I'm going to set my possible index to j, and I'm going to do this step again. Possible index is greater than 0, but I want to check to see if this temp 1 is less than the element at possible index minus 1, which is 8, and 1 is less than 8, so I'm going to do the code inside. So elements at possible index, which is this one, equals the one at possible index minus 1, which means I'm going to grab this 8, put it down here, and put it in the place where that 1 used to be. Good thing we stored it over here so we don't lose it. And now possible index is minus minus, so it comes up here. And I check again, possible index is greater than 0, and I check this one with possible index minus 1, so the 3. Is 1 less than 3? Yes, it is. So we do this again. Elements at possible index, which is at 8, gets the one above at 3. So I'm going to go ahead and clone this 3, bring it down, the 8 goes away, and the 3 slips right in there, and possible index goes minus minus. So there it is. And now I check my while loop again. Possible index, is it greater than 0? No, it is not greater than 0. So I'm ready to do this last step. I break out of the while loop, and the elements at possible index equals temp. And so this 1 comes right up here, and that 3 goes away, and we've done that round. All right, let's try another round. J plus plus. So we come right down here, there's J. This time our temp is going to be the number 7, which is the next one we're going to be inserting, which is why it's called insertion sort. We bring down possible index to match up with J. There it is. And then we say, okay, well, possible index is greater than 0, which it is, and we're going to check it with the element at possible index minus 1. And is 7 less than 8? Yes, it is. So then it says, I'm going to take this 8, and I'm going to clone it and put it down here where this 7 is. So there we go. It goes right in there. And then it says possible index minus minus, so I do that. And now I check possible index is greater than 0, and I check to see if the temp is less than what's at index minus 1, and it is not less. So I break out of the while loop, and now at possible index, which is right here where 8 is, I'm going to copy over temp. All right, I think we just have one more round of this. J comes down to position 4. My temp is this number 5, so I'm going to clone that over here. And then my possible index comes right down here to J. And I checked possible index greater than 0, and I checked to see if this 5 is smaller than what's at index minus 1. And it is. 5 is less than 8. So I do this step where I copy over what's in position minus 1, and I shift it down here, and replace the 5. And now my possible index goes up by 1. There it is. And I check again, possible index greater than 0. And temp, oops, sorry about that. Temp, which is 5, I compare it with the one at possible index minus 1. It is less than 7. So I'm going to now do that shift. So 7 goes down here and 8 gets taken away. So there it is. And my possible index goes minus minus. So I come up here. I'm checking my while loop condition again. Possible index is still bigger than 0. I check to see if temp is less than what's at possible index minus 1. It is not less than 3. I break out of the while loop. Elements at possible index becomes this 5. So we're going to replace that 7 with a 5. And now we come up here. Our j, whoops, we come up here and the j goes plus plus. It is no longer less than elements.length, and we are done.